Good afternoon from the lovely, lovely city of Asheville, North Carolina. And I'm talking it. I'm not exaggerating when I say even the way it's depicted here. Um, it's a beautiful place. So we're in Asheville, and let's go down the list real quick of what I am using for this flight. So I we all have our preferences. We do. And so in my case here, we are actually using say intentions for this flight. When I first brought my sim up, we are using Active Sky for the cloud formations, which by the way, it's beautiful in Asheville today. Probably the temperature's amazing. In fact, I've got it here. Uh, and Where we're traveling to, by the way, is to Newark, New Jersey. Now, who in their right mind would leave Asheville, the beautiful mountains of Asheville, to go to Newark, New Jersey? And I really can't answer that. I know I wouldn't. So, but anyway, on any case, I'll take anyone that wants to go home, or if they're from Newark. But This ought to be a beautiful flight, beautiful flight out of the mountains. Um, Active Sky, by the way, I have had some issues with it periodically, and you just have to be flexible sometimes, all depending on what you're doing. I do make a lot of changes in my Xplane 12, and I like trying new things. So there are times I, kind of push it a little bit to the limit, and it won't come up the way I want it to. But in any case, everything's working great today. We are tip-top shape for this flight, and we're going to actually have a co-pilot today, and I'm going to introduce to you those who have not used it before. Say Intentions. Who out there if you've got it, subscription to it? I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a big part of what I do. I've used it enough now to where I don't want to not use it. And say intentions. There are all kinds of different levels of say intentions, and it's up to you how you want to use it. For instance, and what I'm bringing up right now, we're going to use the Copilot feature, and we're also going to use the flight attendant feature on here. So let's get that up here. I'm going to intercom. We're going to. I have my mentor. I love my mentor, Millie Skybound. She can answer about any question you could possibly imagine when you're in the air, and that includes very specific things about the aircrafts you fly. I think that's kind of neat. But in any case, we're going to go with the cabin crew today, and my favorite cabin crew is. Where are they? Help me find them in our list here. There's quite a few. You can even get your mom. No, we're not going to do your mom today. Grade A professional. Love these girls. They do a wonderful job, girls and ladies and gentlemen. And our co-pilot. Let's see who our co-pilot is today. It's assigned. They assigned me a professional co-pilot at random, so I'm not sure who we're going to get yet for this flight, but we'll do that, and I'll even walk you through a little bit of that there. So, well, I could sit here and talk all day. I know I have been. Okay, but here we are. By the way, just so you know, this is runway 36, um, and that is we'll be taking off from there today, bound for the north. That's quite appropriate, don't you think? Let me see here. So let's get in the plane. Man, it's quiet in this plane, isn't it? Passengers in the back are like, okay, anyway. Uh, if you're new to Xplane or to the Zibo mod, my favorite plane, probably my favorite commercial airliner is the 737-800, and it was not easy initially to learn how to use it. But if you follow along with what I'm doing today, maybe it'll give you a better idea. Okay, I'm not a professional. I'm not an airline pilot. I'm a drone pilot, FAA certified drone pilot, but I don't think that qualifies me for commercial airliners, and I don't have thousands and thousands of hours on this. But I would fall in that category of a very, very enthusiastic about Xplane, about the 737 in general. I've only been studying it for almost 30 years. It's been around for a while. So anyway, here we are. We're in the top panel of the 737, and I'm going to drop the battery guard, which is going to kick off things. I always go up here. My next step that I always do is I start the alignment process. So I'm going to set my alignment to nav, let it be doing its thing. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to knock off or knock on our fuel pumps, but then I'm going to start the APU. Gotta hit on, hold it down for about 4 seconds. Wait for a little error message to pop up, and then we'll kick it again. And there it goes, and we're going to go ahead and turn on our anti-collision light and a steady position light. I always leave those on while I'm working. That will take a minute to come up, and let's go down to our FMS in our menu, our position ID. You notice here that we need to set our IRS position, so I'm going to set it. I'm going to go to page 2. I'm going to click on that location and then click here, and watch the magic happen over here. Voila! All of a sudden you have, and by the way, it took me a long time to learn that. When I first started doing this, and I wasn't really listening to anybody, I was just doing it. It took a little bit for me to finally, all this to come together, but finally realized their IRS position and your gauge there all connected. Okay, fuel balance, airside services. This is on the Zibo mod. It's a little bit different on each aircraft, and we want to go to page 2. We want to load our OFP, our flight plan information, and I want to click that, and we're going to watch the magic happen outside. Beautiful. One other tool that I didn't mention yet is that I use for this flight here is a lossless. So my frame rate just stays tip top, as my Kuwait friend would say, tip top, and it makes it much easier to run your graphics at the highest setting. I'm running a 4070 card and in my system, and I have an i9 processor, 64 gigs of RAM, and that's just generally what I have in this system I'm working with. You notice you see this here. Well, something I haven't done yet. We need to go back into plane and do this. Is turn the bleed on, because we don't want to give our people carbon monoxide poisoning. Everything else there is set for the time being. And if you notice here, our APU is now leveled out, so we're going to start that. I'm going to put seat belts on auto, and I'm going to take my no smoking, which nobody smokes anyway, and I'm going to click it down to on and back to auto, and that usually initiates the loading of passengers right here. In fact, if I haven't, you see where it says 0, usually a message will pop up saying, know, or if you want to load passengers, click your no smoking sign on and off, and they will start loading. So you see here, our fuel's loading. I don't have everything here on real time right now. I have it on a little bit of a quicker time because I don't want to wait all day and I'm being impatient there. Okay. Here the passengers boarding. Whoa, hey guys, great to see everybody. And you'll know the passengers are finally finished boarding when the flight attendant slams the door behind you. Let's see what she does there.
Ground to flight deck, fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
100%. Is she gonna slam the door on me? I'm waiting.
Boarding is now complete. Flight attendants prepare the cabins. Verify arm door, standby for all call.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
That's it. That's the final step. And
however, we cannot do so while anybody's standing in the aisle, so we ask that you please take your seats at this time. Be sure that your seatbelts are securely fastened. Thank you.
wow, it's a beautiful day today. As passengers looking out his window, I think he's got a pretty good seat. Where is he? He's right over the wing. That's a nice seat. Okay. All right. I don't know who our co-pilot is today. Let's meet him. Hello, co-pilot. What is your name?
I am just your trusty co-pilot here to help with the comms and briefings.
Co-pilot, what should I call you?
You can just call me your trusty co-pilot.
How about we call you Samantha?
Samantha sounds great, Steve.
Very well. Would you please get our IFR clearance?
I'll get our IFR clearance from ground. Asheville ground, Allegiant 216. We'd like to request our IFR clearance.
1 second while I grab the paperwork.
2.4 is our reserves, and I'm getting that from right here, 2,446 kilos, but I'm 2.4.
Allegiant 216, clear to Newark Liberty. Radar vectors murky. Then as filed. Climb and maintain 6,000. Expect flight level 330 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 125.8 squawk 4436. Expect runway 35.
We'll load our performance numbers. This is on the 737 model. This can spoil you. The way you're able to load on this. This isn't every aircraft, and I don't mind loading on my waypoint numbers and my air highway numbers. I don't mind doing that, but I really like the way that the Zibo model does it. Our takeoff, we're gonna be taking off with a flap setting of 15. That will give us a rotate of 139. V2 is 146, and in fact, for the 146 setting, we're gonna turn on our flight directors. And we're gonna put 146 in this right there.
Taxi via Alpha to General Aviation Parking. Thank you so much. Western 070.
TBM 4 Lima Tango. Read that correct.
Also, because we have entered this over here before, it said no V speeds. V speeds are now loaded. So we are good to go. Let's check we're going out on the murky, and you see a discontinuity there, but we're actually going to be leaving that on murky. So 111 is murky, and we're going to set our heading to 111. Even though we're actually going out on VNAV and LNAV, eventually we'll climb to 1,000 above. We're going to set that right here. There we go. All right. You can actually click on VNAV right now, doesn't do anything. But if you notice, you can't do LNAV until you're in the air. Will not allow you to. We're going to go ahead and arm the auto throttle. RTO is our reject takeoff setting, and we're going to put that down just in case. Hopefully that won't be necessary. So our settings are in. Our fuel that we need for this trip is loaded. Our block fuel is 18,992, and we'll actually have a burn. Let's see what our burn is here on this trip. Trip financials, extra, top fuel. They'll come back to that. I want to make sure. I was just seeing what our burn actually would be for this trip. We're in good shape. Famous last words. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and put our altimeter settings in. And something to pay attention to, our elevation is a little bit higher here, and I think actually we may be set for it. But it says here
070 Asheville ground. Go ahead.
2998. We're not far off from it.
Western 070 is mid-ramp with information X-ray. Requesting to taxi to runway 35 to depart to the southeast, 5,500.
Western 070, contact tower on 121.1. Have a good morning.
And our cruise altitude is 33,000 feet. So right here, if you notice 33,000, our cabin pressure is already set for it, and it's on auto. And for our altitude, we're going to go ahead and set that to 33,000. We're always flexible that we may have to go and change it along the way, but as a rule, the ATC step climbs us right along with the pace that lets us not have to change that. I always set our flight directors to the same as the runway. So we're taking off on runway 35. I may have said 36 earlier, I meant 35. Another area you can check this for. No, we can't check that yet. Let's see here. We're 548 miles from Jersey, Newark, New Jersey. We don't have to put in our departure or arrival. In fact, I'm not going to put a departure in because we're coming out. We're on a simple. You're either going out 3.5 or 1.8 or 1.7. I think there's only two ways to go on this runway, so I'm not going to put it in. There might be a reason I need to, and if there's someone out there who knows that, I'll listen to you. But I'm not putting anything in there.
Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha, proceed to holding point Bravo via taxiway Alpha.
Proceeding to holding point Bravo via Alpha Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha.
see that this is our course all the way up, our heading all the way up to New Jersey.
Command 611 Golf Zulu, Asheville ground, go ahead.
Samantha, can you get us our push back and start clearance?
I can't handle that unless I am in charge of the comms.
Samantha, you are in charge of all comms from here forward.
I'll handle the comms from here on out.
Now, can you get us our push back and start clearance?
I'll request pushback and
Ground
start clearance from
cockpit,
ground.
please show me where you want to go.
Allegiant 216, we are requesting clearance for pushback and start.
Ground cockpit, tow is driving up.
No, don't, no, no. Okay, I'll go ahead.
Morning, folks on the flight deck. Get your captain for the ride. It looks like
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
We'll talk to you once we get airborne. Welcome aboard.
While we're getting hooked up, or Wade's getting ready to take us back, we're going to go ahead and put our flaps to 15. And let's turn up our settings a little bit there. And we're currently on standby.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, hold that thought. Okay, we're going to start.
Asheville Tower, 72 Kilo Hotel, holding short, runway 17.
We'll wait for that number to get around 25. Taxi light down, taxi light on.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by. connected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the left. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
All right. Landing rights. Logo, wing, wheel.
Contact tower on 121.1.
Hydraulics.
Via Alpha to Alpha
Okay,
1.
cabin is
Window
secure.
heat.
Good flight.
Probes.
Up to altitude 5,500.
Yaw damper.
Contact tower on 121.
Engines to continuous.
Clear to taxi.
Seat belts to on.
17 via Golf Alpha Alpha 8. Confirmed readback. Western 55 Romeo.
Would you please get us our taxi clearance? I don't know why I'm talking so slow to her.
I'll request taxi clearance from ground.
She hears me either way. She's good.
Asheville ground, Allegiant 216, ready to taxi. We have Charlie.
Allegiant 216, taxi to runway 35 via Charlie Alpha Alpha 1.
Runway 35 via Charlie Alpha Alpha 1, Allegiant 216.
You heard that? Okay. Alright. One of the last steps we'll do before takeoff, we'll do our last bit of our checklist. We'll ensure that our flaps are set, which they are, and we will reset our timers so that we know our exact time in air. And sometimes they do that. It's more important on Airbus than on Boeing for that.
My name is Erica, and I'll be your lead flight attendant today. Joining me in the cabin are my fellow crew members, Sarah, Mike, and Jessica. Our estimated flight time is 1 hour and 27 minutes. Before we take off, I'd like to go over some important safety information. First, please ensure your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To unbuckle, simply lift the buckle. In the event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop from the compartment above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth, and secure the elastic band behind your head. Remember to put your mask on first before assisting others. For water landings, life vests are located under your seat. To use them, pull the vest out, place it over your head, and pull the straps around your waist. Inflate the vest by pulling the red tabs or by blowing into the
Western
tube.
070
This
is
Boeing
mid-ramp with
737
information
has
Sierra,
exits located at the front,
requesting to
middle,
taxi
and rear of the
to
cabin.
active runway.
Please take a
for a
moment to locate the nearest exit, which may
Practice
be
area
behind you.
departure at
We kindly ask
5,500.
that you stow your carry-on luggage under the seat in front
Taxi
of
to
you.
runway 8 via Alpha
We will come around shortly with our Snap One beverage service.
Western
After that,
070.
we'll have items from the Allegiant Air Shop available for purchase. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoy the flight.
Timers are set, flaps are at 5, and last thing we'll do is set our transponder to transmit receive, which now we have where TCAS is active. TCAS is active. You want to know if you're about to get hit. Last step before takeoff. Samantha, please get our takeoff clearance. I love this heads-up display, and this is actually on the 737.
Takeoff clearance now.
I thought at first it was just a novelty of Zibo, the Zibo 737, and then I was watching a
Asheville Tower, Allegiant 216, holding short of runway 35. We're ready for departure.
Allegiant 216, Asheville Tower, runway 35, winds 285 at 12, gusting 23. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Got it.
Runway 35, fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff. Allegiant 216.
Anyway, I was watching a few 737 shows, and I saw the pilots pull down this heads-up display. I was like, this is so cool, because you don't have to keep looking down, especially on a simulator in particular. But you can trust it, Okay. Well, let's go. We're all good.
Citation November 4, Tree Mike Whiskey, contact ground on frequency 121.6.
Switching to ground frequency 121.6, citation November 4, Tree Mike Whiskey.
All right. We're about to go in one Toga and start our flight. Everything is set. Passengers, you back there? You happy back there? Woohoo! We're thrilled. We're thrilled. Okay. Right, in one. I have my feet on the brake, so I'm about to release. A little forward pressure on the stick, on the yoke. Want to keep that nose down until time. A little more pressure. Now, I notice I can feel the wind, by the way. Getting a little bit more right rudder. Yeah, I'm heavy on the right rudder. It usually does pull. We're rotating. Gear up. Flaps are fully retracted at this point. I'm bringing the nose down just a little bit. You build some speed up.
Allegiant 216, contact departure on 125.8.
Switching to departure on 125.8, Allegiant 216.
And I'm about to hit Command A, which will put us on autopilot, LNAV, and VNAV.
Asheville departure, Allegiant 216. Good afternoon. We're climbing past 3500.
Allegiant 216, Asheville departure, radar contact. Clear direct marking. Climb and maintain flight level 220.
Clear direct Murky. Climb and maintain flight level 220. Allegiant 216.
We're going to a heading of 111. That's why a lot of turning going on though. For there. Let's look at our path. So here we are. And we're about there. hitting the Murky Highway, and then to Kiddo, then to Omans, Berry, and on our way.
Dear guests, we have just climbed above the safe altitude, and I'm pleased to inform you that the use of electronic devices is now allowed. You may also enjoy our on-board Wi-Fi service. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight as we continue our journey to Newark. Thank you.
Okay, after takeoff checklist, landing gear lever is off. Anti-skid is off.
Allegiant 216, climb and maintain flight level 290.
Cleared RNAV 36 number 2 following a diamond.
Cleared RNAV 36 following the diamond 67 Kilo Lima.
And we can go ahead
Climb and maintain flight level 290. Allegiant 216.
and put our arrival information in. We'll be coming in on runway 29. So we're coming into Newark on 29. Actually, we're going to be asking for a runway change. I want to come in on runway 22. Or 2, I'll take 22 right. $110.75 is the frequency for that. So we're going to put in our frequency 110.75. Checking our cabin pressure, there shouldn't be anything wrong. We are set. I went in and turned the buzzer off.
Allegiant 216, climb and maintain flight level 330.
Climb and maintain flight level 330. Allegiant 216.
And we're going to go ahead and set our flight directors to 219. 22 right is the runway. It's 219 is the actual heading.
Raven 91, Asheville approach, radar contact. Raven 91, Asheville approach, contact Atlanta Center on 132.625. 132.625, Raven 91.
We're going to go and check the elevation in Newark also. The elevation is 17 feet. 17 feet. And for our landing altitude, we're just going to have that knocked down to 0. Landing lights off. And landing lights, wing lights, wheel lights, all off. We already used up the center tank fuel. That's fine. All right, what I just did just then.
216, contact Atlanta Center on 132.625.
What just happened there was
Contacting Atlanta Center on 132.625, Allegiant 216.
there was a reason that our cabin altitude was having issues, and I see what it was, and it was me. I did not turn the APU off before takeoff, and I had not moved the engine buses to the power. It was still running off the APU, and what I just did just then, when I cut off the APU,
Atlanta Center, Allegiant 216. Afternoon climbing through flight level 220 up to flight level 330.
it knocked off the cruise control, not cruise control, the automatic pilot, because it had no power for a split second. When I reignited the buses, hit Command A, we had it back. But that was a bonehead rookie mistake right there. Anyway, we're good now. We're fine. But in a real situation, that could have turned out really bad. Really bad. Bad mistake. Bad, bad, bad.
Spirit 792, expect direct waypoint Tango India Mike in 5 minutes. Expecting direct to Tango India Mike in 5, Spirit 792. Over to Asheville Tower on 21 North, push over the 2146, descend and maintain 10,000. Maintain 10,000, Skyway 2146.
Yeah, that could have turned out really bad because I did not turn the packs back to auto. The packs were off on takeoff. That can impact our pressure, engine pressure, and fools and children. That's the reason we're okay right now. That could have been really bad. Anyway, we're good now. Beautiful, beautiful. We're 463 knots or miles outside of Newark. We're flying at a speed of 285 knots. And I've only almost killed the passengers twice. Doggone it. We've only been up in the air for 18 minutes.
Alaska 709, clear direct to waypoint Bravo Romeo India. Clear direct to Bravo Romeo India, Alaska 709.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached cruising altitude and we will now begin our snack and beverage service. Today, we have some delicious options available, including our savory pretzel bites and refreshing fruit cups. After the service, we will also be offering items from the Allegiant Airshop for purchase. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight as we make our way to Newark.
Washington Center on 124.05.
Contacting Washington Center on 124.05, Allegiant 216. Washington Center, Allegiant 216. Good afternoon. Maintaining flight level 330.
Allegiant 216, Washington Center, good afternoon.
Maintain that 80. Maintaining Mach 80 United 938.
124.7,
And it took a little bit of a break there. We're back at it. So we're only 299 miles outside of Newark now, so things are going to start moving kind of fast. We're going to go ahead and check our altimeter settings. For our arrival airport, which will be 2964. Nothing extreme there. But it does matter, especially when it's an elevation of about zero that we're traveling to. Actually, it does matter. So we've got our elevation set. We're coming in on runway 22. So we're 22 right.
Southwest 1421, descend and maintain flight level 180.
So we're coming in on the Filbo, but we're coming in on runway 22 for runway 22. That could end up changing something. Could change something a lot. Let me see. I think we need Brandy 1. Allegiant 216, we're requesting a runway change to 22 right and to come in on the Brandy 1 arrival.
Allegiant 216, expect runway 22 right and the Brandy 1 arrival into Newark.
Allegiant 216, 22 right, and Brandy 1 arrival. You realize that that is AI.
Allegiant 216, expect the Filbo 4 arrival. Expect to descend in about 20 minutes.
Allegiant 216, we just switched over to the Brandy 1 arrival. We'll be coming in on runway 22 right.
Expecting the Filbo 4 arrival, Allegiant 216.
Allegiant 216, Brandy 1 arrival is not available for KWR at this time. Please continue with the Filbo 4 arrival and expect runway 22 right.
Allegiant 216, understood. Filbo arrival 22 right. I'm talking over my co-pilot. That's not okay. So what happened there is I was trying to direct ATC and they shut me down. And although they gave me a little bit of what I wanted, they wouldn't give me Brandy 1 for my arrival. And they're the traffic directors, so kind of got to go with what they say.
Delta 419 or 419, Washington Center, good morning.
Okay, we're good. Our VREF is 144 at flaps 40. All right, I'm good with all this. It's good. It's good. Yeah, we're okay. So we've only been in the air for 41 minutes. It's from the time we left Asheville. We are 282 miles outside of Newark. We are 135 nautical miles from the top of descent, which will probably end up descending a hair earlier than that, according to VNAV. VNAV's kind of, I'm seeing if VNAV will be accurate, tell us the right way. Always monitor that, and if they get, if it tends to, their calculations tend to take me down too early, too late, or if I think I'm going to increase too much speed on the descent, I'll make changes. I will let it flex. Right now it looks like our, we have almost a slight headwind, but we'll be monitoring that. was first getting into computers many years ago, when shoot, I'll start sounding old. There was this one particular flight sim called F-14 Tomcat, and there was also one F-15, and they were really good. I mean, for the time that they were made in. And I remember when I compare what they look like now, how choppy and broke down they were. But man, it was awesome when you didn't have anything else to choose from. Now it's what you have at your disposal. It's pretty amazing, including here the Google Maps tied with XP Enhance. That just make the scenery look so much different. Active sky when it's cloudy, cloud formations, are just awesome. Good job. I love how it does this. It drops you. If you hit Shift 3, it ends up dropping you somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and it's like must be just like a little airport or a hangar. Where's your runway even for this? That's it. Yeah. So we got our cruise winds, our altimeters are ready, our frequency is set for 22 right, we're coming in on the Filbo arrival, and we're just awaiting on the right window for descent now. I'm leaving the anti-skid on about 2 for landing because we're going to an airport that's got much longer runways.
United 567, reduce speed to 230 knots for sequencing. Slowing to 230 knots, United 567.
I have no idea why.
November, Sierra Lima Bravo Echo is cleared to Kilo Papa Hotel Foxtrot. Climb maintain 2,000 feet. Departure frequency 124.5, squawking 4417.
Comanche Bravo Alpha Echo, read back correct.
Lehigh Valley clearance delivery. Comanche November, Sierra Lima Bravo Alpha Echo, requesting VFR flight following to Kilo Papa Hotel Foxtrot at 3,500 feet, and we have Quebec.
So this is just the time where we're just paying attention and see how close we are. Let's see. I guess we're 102 miles from the Ruth waypoint. It's kind of a transitional waypoint. Let's go ahead and get our fixes done. So we're doing RW 22 right. We're going to do a 10-mile ring and a 4.5-mile ring. Just for reference. Let's go ahead and see what we need to set our altitude down to. Just so we're going to set it on 2000 and let VNAV do the work. If we're doing 22 right, we don't have a direct approach, like, but we should not have that should cut down on our turns still to be on 22 right, because it should just give us a left turn to set up. We'll see. But if we're on the fill boat, we're gonna have to go back across the airport. That's what I'm saying. There's a couple of maneuvers we have to do. See, there's Philbo. There's Newark. Okay. So,
Allegiant 216, contact Washington Center on 134.5.
Switching to Washington Center on 134.5, Allegiant 216.
well, let's see. It says 22.
Washington Center, Allegiant 216, afternoon, maintaining flight level 330.
Okay.
Allegiant 216, Washington Center, good afternoon.
No, that makes sense. It makes sense. When we come in on Philbo, Samantha, get our clearance to descend, please.
I'll request our descent clearance from Washington Center. Washington Center, Allegiant 216, requesting descent clearance.
Allegiant 216, descend via Philbo 4 into Newark Liberty.
I haven't figured out the voice.
Newark Liberty, Allegiant 216.
I haven't figured out the voice yet. Like, wow, ma'am, you got a deep voice. Anyway.
Spirit 792, expect direct waypoint Tango India, Mike in 5 minutes. Expecting direct Tango India, Mike in 5, Spirit 792. American 227, Washington Center, good afternoon.
It's going to vector us to tips. We're not going to go all the way up. So when we come across Philbo, it's going to vector us somehow to tips. I'm ready. We're prepared for that. We're good.
Expect
clouds are active sky, being controlled by let's go to active sky interface. So live weather's active for this. And we have our detailed weather briefing here. So we average wind temps 265 or the winds are 265.72. We're at the most favorable wind condition altitude. But you see how it breaks everything down all the way to arrival. So we're going to have scattered clouds. Wind conditions aren't really that much of an issue. And best runways for our current course and the weather are 22 left and 22 right. Woohoo. So we picked the right one. Okay.
Sierra Mike traffic alert 1-2 o'clock, 4 miles opposite direction. Traffic in sight, 0555 Sierra Mike.
Okay. We're in good shape. Forward and all right, so far so good. It's good. It was a quiet day. Too quiet. It is kind of quiet right now. Okay. We are 129 miles from Newark. And what we will do is our course will take us, we'll actually pass the airport and come back around and set up for an approach. We'll be vectored by say Intentions, so we'll get a chance to see ATC work, see Intentions ATC work. I notice a day and night difference in the clouds if I am like using Active Sky, or if I'm using Xplane 12, just the stock clouds, even if they're up to the highest graphic level, it doesn't really match up with this. That's good, you know. Right, we're at 266 knots, 267 is what VNAV is set for. It's being controlled. The speed's being controlled. We're going to arm our speed brake, although we're not using it yet. Wow, beautiful. Sorry if I'm making you seasick. Set the speed bug. I always like hitting shift 3 to see what airport it puts me at. This is a nicer airport. I don't know where it is, but it's nicer. See it?
Allegiant 216, contact New York Center on 133.5.
Contacting New York Center on 133.5. Allegiant 216.
Progress right now is that we should be at 240 or 248. Was that
New York
240?
Center, Allegiant 216, afternoon, descending through flight level 200.
Allegiant 216, New York Center, good afternoon.
United 567, reduce speed to 230 knots for sequencing. 230 knots, United 567.
We're about 10,000 feet off of our descent right now. I'm going to see how we make up for it. Well, and I don't know. We might be okay because you see we're descending at a little faster of a pace now. But we're way off, I thought. It looks like we are. Our time in flight is 1 hour and 6 minutes. And switch pressure. We're good there. I'm doing this a little early, but I'm not being graded from Allegiant right now, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on my lights. In the clouds. It's scattered clouds, so it's really not terribly bad. We're about to make a turn to
Allegiant 216, New York Center, contact Newark approach on 128.55.
Contacting Newark approach on 128.55. Allegiant 216.
going to flaps 1.
Newark approach with Legion 216. Afternoon. We're descending through 16,000.
Allegiant 216 Newark approach. Good afternoon, Newark Liberty, altimeter 29.64. Expect the visual runway 22 right approach into Newark Liberty.
KLM 945 cleared for the visual approach, runway 9 report, 3 mile final.
Cleared visual 9 will report 3 mile final, KLM 945.
This is where I think some of the scenery pops. Looks good.
216.
Good coffee. I always make my own. I make pour overs. I don't do the frou-frou stuff. I just like good coffee. So, just so you know where we are right now, so we're on a heading of about 023 is our heading, and at some point we will be taken onto a vector, but I think we're going to be further up here, and he'll start vectoring us to some vector to our right, and help us line up for runway 22 right. I had a landing at KLAS the other day, and they really did a good job getting you set up for the runway. Don't do me wrong, say Intentions. They did a good job. We're all right on course. We're good. We're in a good shape right now. So marked, we're at 240. It's supposed to be 8,000 feet or 2.5 nautical miles. We might make it, and that will take us to Filbo, and at Filbo we should start hearing some vectoring.
Allegiant 216, descend and maintain 4,000, turn right, heading 075 vectors for the visual runway 22 right approach.
There he comes.
Descend and maintain 4,000. Right turn heading 075 for vectors to the visual 22 right approach, Allegiant 216.
Delta 1721, maintain 170 knots to McGee. 170 to McGee, Delta 1721.
Captain, cabin is ready. Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our final approach into Newark, please turn off all electronic devices and stow them until we've arrived at the gate. Kindly put your tray tables away, ensure your seats are in their full upright position, and fasten your seatbelt. Our Allegiant Air staff provide you with information regarding your connection flight. Once we are
Allegiant 216, contact New York approach on 125.7.
Switching to New York approach on 125.7, Allegiant 216.
Flaps 5. We're at flaps 5.
New York approach, Allegiant 216, afternoon descending through 9,000 down to 4,000.
Allegiant 216, New York approach. Good afternoon, Newark Liberty, altimeter 29.64.
Our speed brake is armed. We're at flaps 5. We are currently at about 7,000 and descending to 4,000. We are we're about 8.9 miles from Philbo, and that's when we're already on vector now, so I am going to take that vector out and leave it like that on our LNAV settings, because tips is where he's going to get us to. We need some good tips. Now, another one. I have no idea what airport this is here. Wow, Xplane 12 is the best flight sim for ADD. Squirrel!
Allegiant 216, New York approach. Turn left heading 055.
Turning left heading 055, Allegiant 216.
055.
1,000 to go.
We're in great shape right here. Down to 190, 190. The speed brake is armed, but we're not using any additional drag. Baseball field. And look, once again, clouds. The clouds are awesome. The scenery. Very pleased. And no, there might be some haters of Xplane. I don't know, but I have not. The only time I spent time with Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 was right after the fiasco. And I understand it's gotten much better, but I have not spent a lot of time with the new version yet. I haven't. And I know the graphics are great. I know they look good. But no, I haven't. Okay, we're at 4,000. Treading water at 4,000. Tips is what it's gonna set me up for. I know it is. 1075. We're doing one last check. Runway 22 right, which is 219 heading.
Turn right, heading 0905.
Turning right, heading 0905, Allegiant 216.
0905.
Cleared for residential chemtrail off at or above flight level 350.
Chemtrail off approved. Janet 294. Have a great day.
Allegiant 216, 7 miles from the approach turn. Turn right, heading 165, descend and maintain 3000 until established. Cleared for the visual runway 22 right approach.
Right heading 165, descend and maintain 3000 until established. Cleared for the visual runway 22 right approach, Allegiant 216.
Thousand to go.
Scott, it's having me turn 165. What airport's that? New York City. New York City?
Allegiant 216, contact Newark Liberty Tower on 118.3.
Switching to Newark Liberty Tower on 118.3, Allegiant 216. Newark Liberty International Airport Tower, Allegiant 216, afternoon. We are established on the visual approach for runway 22 right.
Allegiant 216, Newark Liberty International Airport Tower, winds 270 at 18, runway 22 right, cleared to land.
Runway 22 right, clear to land, Allegiant 216.
All right, we're established on ILS. We are
2500.
I've got our speed is set on auto throttle at 147 at the present. I notice it's gonna, whoa, come on guy, catch up. Anyway, I will eventually take the throttle at about 1,000 feet and I'll take it on in. We use a combination of the auto land and I'll be doing the throttle and I'll take control maybe 200 feet at 200 feet. If the ILS auto land is doing a good job, sometimes it's more advantageous for me as a more inexperienced pilot to control the throttle and to keep the throttle, because I can come in with a much smoother approach, and that helps me not have to multitask as much. That's something I'll do eventually on my own, but for now it's working for me. We're at 140, we're 145 knots, 40 flaps. Our VREF is 144, but we probably need to add 5, 144. We're gonna add 5. I don't like the job auto throttle's doing. Kind of looking forward to taking it over. I got the throttle.
Thousand feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch out, 6-7.
Wind is awful. The wind is really bad. That was an awful landing. Winds are
Allegiant 216, welcome to Newark Liberty. Contact ground on 121.8.
80 knots.
not impressed.
Switching to ground on 121.8. Allegiant 216.
That was rough. It was really rough.
Newark Liberty International Airport ground. Allegiant 216. Afternoon. We're clear of runway 22 right and ready to taxi to the gate.
That could have ended really bad.
Allegiant 216, Newark Liberty International Airport ground, taxi to B61 via Bravo 4 November Alpha Romeo Echo. Have a great day.
Taxi to Bravo 61 via Bravo 4 November Alpha Romeo Echo. Allegiant 216.
Well, folks, that was quite the landing, wasn't it? But hey, we made it safely to Newark. Current local time here is 2:11 p.m.
That was a nice way to say it.
Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until we come to a complete stop. Now, a fun fact about Newark. It's home to the largest collection of cherry blossom trees in the United States, and they bloom beautifully in the spring. The weather here is quite pleasant, with a temperature of 16 degrees Celsius, scattered clouds at 7,000 feet, and no precipitation in sight. Thank you for flying with Allegiant Air today. On behalf of Captain Steve Good, First Officer Brian Song, and the entire crew, Sarah, Mike, and Jessica, we wish you a wonderful day ahead.
Gosh, that's a big airplane.
Short of taxiway Foxtrot Cherokee Tree 15, X-ray Papa.
Ground United 1397, request taxi runway 22 right.
That was awful landing. I'm trying to think if it was a combination of wind. That's after I just got through bragging about how at times it looked like Autoland could really be good navigation and speed-wise. We were all over the map, but let's see. We're gonna get. Let's take the engines down here, and I'm gonna do the replay. Let's do a replay. Let's get outside. I think it'll let me. Okay. Okay. It was really struggling with, I don't know if it was wind. Let's see. It looks like we were even crabbing our way in. This is not a stable, I wouldn't call this a stable approach. That's my keen insight in the obvious, I know. We're at VREF of 40 flaps. Okay, you see, we still have, we got 3 white, 1 red. All right, we got 3 red. And it's just all over the map now. My wing touched. So at that point, I can't say anything about the pilot who just touched her wing on the runway. That was awful. That was awful. Well, that was interesting. And hey, thanks for anybody who goes back and watches this later. Awful landing. Some of that was wind. It's a combination of things. I would say that the wind may have had a little bit to do with it, but I tried to come in. Usually I'm very stable, and it does look like the weather is a little bit iffy there, but it was very stable. It wasn't very stable. I tried to take the throttle because I noticed that even the throttle, it looked like it continued to increase. The speed continued to increase, and even when I took it, I did not get the speed down very much at all. And in all things being said, that was the prime example of when it's necessary to do a go around. So we should have done a go around, and we just got extremely lucky on that landing that it didn't turn out worse. And it does look like I had a wing strike. So, live and learn. This flight itself was pretty good. Coming out of Asheville, I made some bonehead rookie mistakes coming out of Asheville, including we actually took off on the APU. We did not take off on the engine buses. That was stupid.
Charlie Echo, hold short of taxiway Delta, awaiting further instructions.
And I think it was just talking. I was too interested in talking.
Charlie Echo.
So there's just some things that could have been done better. Even coming out of Asheville, and I think I was very fortunate coming out of Asheville that something didn't turn out bad, and we were able to stay on Toga N1 and get up to altitude. But yeah, there were some even things there I could have done better. Well, let's keep learning. You know what? Live and learn. All right, we'll talk to y'all guys later.